IDCEC Health, Safety, and Welfare Credit. I would like to now introduce our local textile consultant, Paula Fierros, and the Western Regional Sales Manager, Randy Kemp from CF Stinson. Paula, in her current role, covers Northern California and Northern Nevada and brings over 25 years of industry experience. Randy, having 30-year industry experience, has focused largely on helping to educate and challenge designers toward integrating well-informed, progressive, and innovative design solutions. So now I will pass it over to today's presenters.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Go.
Let me try to share the screen here, folks. Hang on. One moment. Okay. This worked perfect yesterday, of course, during our practice session.
Can you hover down the bottom, Paula, and see is there an option to share screen?
I'm not able to, hang on. Here we go. All right, sorry folks, technical difficulties.
It's always expected.
Our biggest fear. All right. And let me just get to the presentation here. All right. How does that look, Alex?
Good to go.
All righty. Thank you, everyone, for bearing with me. And thank you for joining us for today's CEU session, Specifying Textiles in a Pandemic World. Thank you, Alex, for the introduction. Randy and I are thrilled and honored to be here today. And thank you, IIDA Sacramento City Center. We appreciate the opportunity to connect and support IIDA. For those of you not familiar, Stinson is a 68-year-old company, award-winning textile and technology company whose mission is to provide you with textiles that work hard and the technology that makes specifying textiles easy. Our mission today to share with you what we see as the new world of specifying commercial textiles. We will provide performance surface material and product attribute information that will help guide you as you work with your customers. Performance attributes in textiles matter more than ever, and going forward, you'll need to make educated selections to avoid field failures and provide solutions that will help promote healthy spaces. You'll be glad and maybe even surprised to see that there are still plenty of textiles that meet your clients' needs and provide a beautiful aesthetic. At Stinson, we're uniquely poised to enter this new world due to our long history and industry leadership in performance surface materials. As we're learning about these today, let's keep in mind that performance in a textile or coated fabric doesn't necessarily mean more expensive. Let's keep the goal in mind of matching the needs of the environments with the appropriate surface materials for the new world. Let's start with a few housekeeping items. As Alex mentioned, you can chat in questions throughout the presentation and we'll be assured to address these as we go along, as well as allowing time at the end for questions. And again, as Alex mentioned, this is an IDCEC certified CEU or a health, safety, and welfare credit.
Well, if I might step in real quickly and remind folks to use the Q&A tab and not the chat tab for their questions.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. All right, this officially begins the CEU. Before we dive into textiles, let's pause to consider Maslow's pyramid of needs. This depicts a theory of human motivation, suggesting that we're motivated to fill our most basic needs before we can pursue higher levels of human existence. You may agree that prior to the pandemic, most of us were residing among the blue and green levels of the pyramid. With the arrival of the pandemic, we've been literally and figuratively kicked back down to the orange and red areas. People are worried about their jobs, paying rent, keeping their homes, and the haziness of an unknown future has been daunting to all of us. Every person has been affected, and it's quickly accumulated into poor sleeping, bad eating habits, and overall stress. For me, a bit of survivor guilt. I'm thankful not just to be employed, but to have the resources and opportunities to be productive, stay connected, and most importantly, to continue to support the design community. Getting back to life is going to be different for everyone. It's going to happen at different paces for different industries. In the world of fabrics, we see it happening in two phases. Phase one will focus on safety and security. Perception and trust will be guiding principles, whether it's a learning environment, workplace environment, healthcare facility, or a space in your favorite restaurant. Social and physical distancing practices will need to be designed into the space. In addition, safety of materials will become more important. Surfaces, both hard and soft, will need to be disinfectable. Customers and employees will need to feel comfortable and secure. They'll need to know that where they are is a safe and clean place to be. Phase two takes it to the next level. Once we feel safe and secure in an environment, we believe the focus will shift to spaces that will help us feel healthier, with materials designed with the health of the people and the planet in mind. As we move past crisis management, we will head back up Maslow's pyramid of needs, keeping the very important concepts we've learned about health and hygiene in a pandemic world. We will all demand that our public spaces and those materials we touch transform to be easy to clean and easy to disinfect. Let's talk about the transition back to public life and what it looks like. Interior design thought leaders believe that where we are going even post-COVID looks a lot like wellness paired with durability and cleanability. Surface material attributes that have traditionally been important to healthcare environments will now inform workplace, learning, and hospitality spaces. For those of you with experience in healthcare, this information will be familiar. For others, let's review the textile properties and attributes that will become important in every commercial interior. Let's first talk about bleach solution cleanability and/or disinfectability and the difference between cleaning and disinfecting. Diluted chlorine bleach has been used for decades as a steadfast disinfectant and stains solution. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, a 10% diluted solution of household bleach is recommended for disinfecting. Although bleach cleanable products were once siloed into healthcare settings, specifiers for other environments have since turned to bleach cleanable materials. Bleach cleanable materials are available in both woven and non-woven products. Now, cleaning versus disinfecting. Cleaning removes dirt and impurities from surfaces or objects. Cleaning works by using soap and water or vacuuming to physically remove dirt and germs. This process does not necessarily kill germs, but by removing them, it lowers their numbers and the risk of spreading infection. Disinfecting works by using chemicals to kill germs on surfaces or objects. This process does not necessarily clean dirty surfaces or remove germs, but by killing germs on a surface after cleaning, it can further lower the risk of spreading infections. So, clean first, then disinfect. As a side note, we have heard some discussion regarding the differences in disinfecting and sanitizing. Sanitizing only lowers germs on a surface, while disinfecting cleans. Now let's look at the most important attributes of these performance fabrics. Bleach solution cleanable and/or disinfectable, as we just discussed. Surfaces and surface materials will need to be bleach solution cleanable and disinfectable. Heavy-duty physical properties. Surface materials will need to be heavy-duty, not just from an abrasion perspective, but also will need other strong physical properties to project an image of clean and new for long periods of time. In regards to abrasion, for wovens, look for a minimum of 50,000 double rubs. For coated fabrics, a minimum of 100,000 double rubs. Additional physical properties that should also be considered are seam slippage, breaking strength, adhesion of coating, tear strength, and brush pill. Refer to the Association of Contract Textiles, or ACT, for industry standards and minimum guidelines. Many textile manufacturer products will include the ACT symbols indicating that they meet the industry standard. Now, for polyurethanes, look for hydrolysis resistance. This is the evaluation of a polyurethane coated fabric's ability to withstand exposure to extended periods of heat and humidity. Hydrolysis resistance is very important because there are so many variations of polyurethane qualities in the market. Performance of a polyurethane is contingent upon type of resins used in the construction. Be sure polycarbonate resin is used in the base and skin. These will be more expensive, but will be worth the investment in performance. It is worth noting that generally speaking, vinyl is a much better choice for durability under the new specification concerns. Fluid barrier protection. Products that include moisture or fluid barriers will be in demand. Simply put, moisture barrier products block liquids or spills from penetrating into the foam of the furniture. Once liquids have made their way into the foam, mold and mildew can occur and the foam can break down. Krypton and coated fabrics both have fluid barrier protection. Antimicrobial protection. Here, there's a bit of debate and discussion surrounding the inclusion of antimicrobials. Some believe the inclusion of antimicrobials may contribute to the development of superbugs or give us a false sense of security. Others support including antimicrobials as they help keep the protected surface clean, as well as possibly minimize the transference of bacteria. However, one important note needs to be made. The inclusion of antimicrobials does not replace the need for cleaning and maintenance protocols. Enhanced fade resistance is and will continue to be important as people will desire and be attracted to outdoor spaces. Natural light has been shown to increase academic performance in educational environments and has shown to improve patient outcomes in healthcare environments. We all feel better on a sunny day versus a cloudy day, though in California, we can't complain about the rain. Anyway, new construction designs typically bring in a lot of natural light. However, as furniture is placed near windows, fabrics that are not fade resistant will change color, fade, and even deteriorate over time. Soil and stain resistance is a protective finish that is engineered to repel liquids and soiling. Maintenance and cleaning have significant impact on the longevity of textiles. Nanotex, Green Shield, Encase, all names for soil and stain resistant finishes help prolong the life of the surface material by providing additional durability while also protecting against spills and stains. So again, those attributes traditionally necessary in the healthcare industry are now important everywhere. We can pause here for a few questions, if there are any.
Yes, Paula, we have one question from the audience. Can you possibly provide some clarification on the hydrolysis resistance point?
Sure. So hydrolysis resistance, this is related strictly to polyurethanes and is determined by testing the polyurethane's capability to withstand exposure to extended periods of heat and humidity. The ACT performance guidelines, the minimum guideline is 5 weeks. However, the test, this is just a test terminology and doesn't necessarily relate directly back to like testing weeks to years in the field. It does, however, give a great sense of comparison when looking at these types of materials. Would you add anything to that, Randy?
Yes, actually, good point. The metric that's used, 5 weeks, is relatively new. They used to use a year's metric, and that was incorrectly interpreted as a direct relation to the longevity of the product. So the recent move to weeks versus years is just to take that element out. And again, the bare minimum for commercial application is a 5-week rating. 7 and 10 week is that much better.
Great. Okay, thank you. Any other questions? All right, I think we can move on. Now that we've been armed with the important information from the healthcare industry, let's look at how we can apply these attributes to other markets. Let's first look at education, both K-12 and higher ed. In K-12, what was important prior to the pandemic and into the future is the ability to clean and disinfect. Easy to clean hard surfaces such as desks, bookshelves, tables, cubbies, and lockers. Easy to clean soft surfaces, chairs, gathering spaces, auditoriums, theaters, offices. Easy to clean staff areas, administrative, nurse, specialists, and shared teacher offices. Cleanable, durable, disinfectable surfaces such as coated fabrics that include vinyl, polyurethane, and silicone represent excellent options for K through 12. Of the three, vinyl is the best option in terms of long-term sustainability against disinfecting and high traffic environments. Aesthetics, as well as environmental attributes of vinyl, have improved immensely over the past decade. You can now get patterns that truly look like a woven fabric and are environmentally friendly. Be sure to also look for Green Guard certified products. Additionally, look for products that are flame retardant additive free for compliance with California's law banning flame retardant additives in upholstered furniture. Now on to higher ed. A few key factors that are influencing the world of higher ed. A majority of international students are not returning to the US post-COVID. Also, students are deferring and outright delaying college due to many factors. What will colleges and universities do? Higher ed institutions will focus on branding for attraction and retention. Designers will use techniques to deploy a sense of nostalgia and grounding to provide a sense of community utilizing design principles like rustic or ethnic, and themes which can be literal or abstract and create a language that ties a community together. People will be seeking connection and fellowship with peers once campuses are open again. Our new world order will dictate the demonstration of safety and hygiene procedures, giving faith to those returning to campus with the pronouncement of cleaning protocols, social distancing, and infirmaries with rules for sick students and staff. So who are we designing for in these higher ed spaces? They are Generation Z, the students of today, the faculty and workers of tomorrow. They are physically responsible, tending to be cautious of financial obligations, self-directed, able to organize and focus on goals. They're tech-focused. They've never known a time without the internet and Google, plus the tools and apps that accompany it. They believe in science and climate change. They are environmentally thoughtful and motivated. They're confident and justice-minded, believing in having a strong voice. So what does that mean for education? More to the point, what does that mean for design and education? Recruiting and attracting these students will be critical for schools to remain solvent in the coming months and year. With all of the chaos, Gen Z is a very adaptable generation. They are exceptionally creative and innovative and will demand spaces that can support that. More interesting, even with their tech-savvy ways, Gen Z still prefer face-to-face interactions with peers, faculty, and staff. Providing resources such as comfortable and easy to clean furniture will support in-person exchanges. Social spaces will need to be designed with the concept of physical distancing and use of cleanable, durable, disinfectable surfaces. For educators and administrators, they'll need product to create division and the resources to support social distancing with coworkers and students. With flexible and agile spaces, extremely durable fabrics are needed to protect furniture resources, as budgets in most educational environments are limited. Panels with bleach solution cleanable fabrics and surfaces coupled with easy to clean sound attenuation and dampening will continue to be important. Panel fabrics, unlike expensive packaged tabletop acoustic packages, can be freshened over time by simply replacing the bleach solution cleanable fabric. This certainly makes a case for using fabric-clad panels versus other products. A few notes here. Look for bleach cleanable solutions. Tabletop acoustic options offer divisional protection, but unless they're bleach solution cleanable, they may divide space but not be disinfectable. If using a coated fabric, it will need to meet specific vertical flammability standards. Another interesting shift is the continuing use of the home office for faculty and staff. This will necessitate high-performing supportive products. Virtual office hours may become more prevalent with meetings via Zoom or FaceTime. Task chairs, tables, and storage will require approachable pricing, durability, soft textures, and materials that coordinate with the home aesthetic. Now let's turn our attention to the workplace environment. When employees first start to trickle back into the office, they will demand an initial focus on workplace hygiene and protocols. Employers, property owners, and facility managers must prepare for the new mindset, leveraging design, operations, and policies to proactively address risks of virus transmission and create restorative environments where building occupants feel safe, comfortable, and supported. Perception is reality. What employees perceive is what they'll believe. Transparency is essential for building trust and managing information. Telework, the concept of splitting employees into groups, may encourage alternating days for office time. In the same breath, more room will be required for tech collaboration. Industry reports show that 41% of employees are more likely to work remotely, at least some of the time post-pandemic. Let's talk a bit about the group that's influencing the workplace like no other, millennials, born between 1982 and 2000. They have officially surpassed the boomers to become the largest living generation and the largest generation in the workforce. So who are the millennials? They have a unique set of characteristics that we've not seen before. This generation is the most adaptable and creative generation ever. They value meaningful motivation, not simply driven by money. They're often focused on helping others and their community. They like to share their opinions and views, even if it challenges their superiors or authority. They believe a company is at its best when collaborating and all points of view are regarded and valued. They value teamwork. They also value connections with supervisors, thriving on advice, feedback, and rapport, mentoring, and career guidance. As they grew into adulthood, they witnessed firsthand the expansive growth of technology. Smartphones, VR, interactive software, and AI are all tools they either utilize now or will continue to develop. They are task-oriented with focus on quality of work. They're receptive to regular feedback and drive to constantly do better. They are creative, free thinkers, and resourceful. They're adaptable, open to changing atmospheres and situations. So, getting back to the office will require new workplace guidelines, such as new materials. Specifiers and designers will need to consider what lessons we can learn from the healthcare industry. Beyond materials, there are lots of other considerations, which by now you may be familiar with. Let's review. One consideration, remote offices. We may see employers set up offices in secondary locations to aid in business continuity and help accommodate a growing number of younger people who want to move out of expensive city life and into suburbia. We've learned that urban density can help spread disease, and being cooped up in a small apartment with kids and pets doesn't exactly help productivity, but can make for some funny YouTube videos. Another consideration, air quality. Most buildings have a tremendous amount of recirculated air. Expect to see more attention placed on understanding the air handling system of buildings and increased investment by owners in this infrastructure. Reception areas will be minimized. If no formal visitor protocols or badge requirements exist, consider controlling access to the office via signage for phone-in entry. Temporary plexiglass screens can be installed at reception or check-in points. Rearrange or take away seating in the reception area to manage social distancing. To maintain hygiene, remove magazines, corporate swag, or pens from the reception space, and keep the hand sanitizer dispensers in plain view. Have protocols for cleaning. Workstation areas will need to shift to accommodate 6 feet of social distancing. Start with a floor plan indicating the workstations to be occupied. Remove chairs, even monitors, to discourage unoccupied workstation use. Seating should remain assigned until the widespread threat of virus transmission has diminished. Employees' personal items should be removed for thorough nightly work surface cleaning. Additional concepts include installing higher bleach solution cleanable panels or reorienting workstations so employees do not face one another. Collaboration areas will downsize. To minimize groups, remove extra conference room chairs and install signage indicating the maximum number of people allowed in each conference, meeting, huddle, and focus room. Use a portion of your largest conference room for chair storage until the need for social distancing has diminished. Consider new technologies to provide meeting availability and cleaning maintenance timelines. Ancillary spaces will require additional spacing. Readjust the spacing of ancillary furniture in public areas, breakout zones, town hall spaces, and building atria. Remove additional furniture not required in the new layout and install signage that indicates maximum capacity. Training rooms may be repurposed. As training remains virtual for the foreseeable future, repurpose those rooms to temporarily store the chairs and ancillary furniture that has been removed from the workstation areas. Keeping this furniture on site rather than shipping to your storage will ease the transition once these pieces can be returned to their original locations. Now let's segue to the hardest hit industry, hospitality. The impact of COVID on the hospitality industry, including restaurants, hotels, casinos, amusement parks, cruises, entertainment, etc., has been nothing short of catastrophic. Quote, the impact on travel is 6 or 7 times greater than the 9/11 attack, says Roger Dow, president and CEO of the US Travel Association, who represents an industry that generates $2.6 trillion in economic output and supports 15.8 million jobs in the US. According to a survey of North American leisure travelers conducted by Fuel Travel at the beginning of the pandemic, 45% of travelers canceled a trip, 11% rebooked, and at that time, 59% of travelers still planned to take a vacation in 2020, but most likely, those trips are still on hold. However, the desire to travel isn't waning, it's just being pushed further out. On the other hand, business travel makes up 60 to 70% of the travel industry, and that type of travel may take longer to make a comeback. In the meantime, with travel on pause, hotels are considering a phased approach. They're staying connected with previous and potential guests and continuing strong brand awareness via social media, emails, and editorial content. Large hotel chains like Marriott have announced the implementation of safety and cleaning protocols. They're installing signage to remind visitors and guests about social distancing. Additional hand sanitizing stations have been installed at all entrances, meeting spaces, fitness spaces, and some are adding phone or e-check-in. These guidelines are more important than ever because these chain hotels are competing with boutique hotels and small resorts that offer individual villas, not to mention Airbnbs that inherently provide social distancing. W. Brian Smith of Studio Tech in Brooklyn, New York said in an Architectural Digest article, the challenge will lie in balancing the need to mitigate worry while at the same time providing spaces that invite guests to relax and enjoy themselves. In a conversation with Interiors and Sources Chief Content Director, Robert Niemanen, he discussed what this new world may look like with top designer Michael Suomi, founder of Suomi Design Works. They agree that some of the best design has come from a challenging set of requirements, rules, and restrictions. As we move into the next phase of post-pandemic, those parameters are going to be an exciting challenge for designers to tackle. Robert also noted, designers and architects and other creative types are just so innovative. I don't think there's a better group of people to rise up to the challenges that our world is facing in these times and going forward. Hotels, restaurants, and cruise ships are beginning to utilize products that have long been used in the healthcare industry. The concept of implying a higher level of confidence about cleanliness seems to be preferred over complete refurbishment. Replacing current surface materials with easy to clean and disinfectable materials is being combined with deploying active cleaning during the day, cleaning while guests are present instead of at night to show that they are not just complying, but are proactively disinfecting. We've heard this referred to as hygiene theater. Let's take another moment here to pause for questions.
Nothing just yet, Paula. We have a couple that we can address later on.
All right, I'll keep going. So how do we support the needs of education, workplace, and hospitality, and help them transition to using surface materials with attributes traditionally used in the healthcare environment? We can support them with thoughtful specifications and by supplying materials that are durable, easy to maintain, and disinfect. Let's look at some of the product categories that answer the needs for these environments and give us freedom of choice in design. Certain types of performance-oriented fabrics will move to the forefront of surface materials and will be best suited to stand up to the demands of the New World Order. These are the textile construction types that are bleach solution cleanable and will perform under our new hygiene practices. For instance, solution dyed nylon is bleach cleanable, durable, and fade resistant. Solution dyed nylon is produced by coloring the polymer solution prior to being extruded into fiber. The color, therefore, is locked in and consistent throughout the yarn. Fabrics made of solution dyed nylon are classified as heavy duty and ideal for high performance applications. They can be disinfected with a diluted bleach solution without color loss or damage. Krypton fabrics are water-based and oil-based stain resistant, also resistant to odor-causing bacteria with an antimicrobial finish and include a moisture barrier. When using Krypton's disinfectant and deodorizer, Krypton is approved by the EPA as disinfectable. It's also important to note that some Krypton fabrics are bleach cleanable, but not all. Interest in coated fabrics such as vinyls, polyurethane, and silicones will be more important than ever. Lots of options here, which we'll discuss in detail shortly. High energy dyed polyester, relatively new to the market. These textiles woven with polyester yarns, colored with high energy dyes, can also be disinfected with a diluted bleach solution without color loss or damage. Belladura and Sunbrella Contract are important because they are solution dyed products that will stand up to the repeated cleanings with bleach, are soft to the touch, and fade resistant. Both are suitable for indoor and outdoor applications. Now let's look at surface material solutions for a few space typologies. First, cozy and calming. After months of working from the comfort of our homes, we've all developed new habits, preferences, and workflows. As we transition back to public spaces and office environments, it will be more important than ever to create warm, inviting places where we feel safe and secure. Cozy and calming textiles that can be disinfected with bleach and still match your design vision will give a feeling of familiarity and warmth without sacrificing style. This can be achieved with residential looking textiles with a soft hand and nubby texture, specialty and novelty yarns like Belladura, textured solids and minimal patterns as you would see in home design, and coated fabrics that are designed to mimic woven textiles. 4 options for bleach solution cleanable textiles are coated fabrics, heavy duty, select kryptons, and high energy dyed polyester constructions. Next, let's consider the outdoor oasis. We do live in California after all. Fun fact, Sacramento gets, I think, 269 sunny days a year. So over 3/4 or almost 3/4 of the year. So the use of outdoor spaces and rooms that are open to the outdoors will be an element of dissipating density while also providing work areas with fresh airflow. Why not take advantage of spaces that allow for social distancing and offer benefits of natural light? These inviting and inspiring outdoor oasis textiles can be disinfected with bleach, and because they offer enhanced fade resistance, can be used in both indoor and outdoor, providing connection and flow between spaces. 3 options for textiles that offer superior light fastness are Sunbrella Contract, Belladura, and coated fabrics. Coated fabrics such as vinyls, polyurethanes, and silicones will be more important than ever because they're easy to clean and disinfect and are perceived that way as well. The great news is now you can achieve a woven textile look in a coated fabric. And for your reference, the industry standard light fastness rating for commercial indoor fabrics that is 40 hours. These 3 product groups pass up to 2,000 hours, 50 times the indoor standard. So this gives you a comparison and a good idea of the superior fade resistance that these products offer. Zen zones. With an increase in virtual meetings and digital experiences, there may be an increase in spaces meant for individual focus and respite, such as quiet rooms and meditation rooms. These Zen zone textiles that can be disinfected with bleach can infuse a feeling of innate harmony with their abstract organic patterns, textural elements, soothing colorways, organic shapes, and motifs. Integrating biophilic design with the use of textiles reinforces the connection between humans and nature. These can foster a more connected, relaxing, and attracting environment. Zen Zone textiles are available in all of the categories: solution dyed, Krypton, coated fabrics, Sunbrella, Belladura, and high energy dyed polyester. For examples that embody these Zen zones, textural yarns with multiple deniers, hand-drawn textures inspired by natural surfaces, nature-inspired materials and designs, and watercolor-inspired colorways and organic shapes. Now let's look at some visual cues that will also be important in the new world of design. One trend industry thought leaders have suggested is a back-to-basic approach with strong feel-good colors, not necessarily primary colors, but more saturated pigments or colors with more chromonutrition. Pantone's illuminating comes to mind. On the other hand, white, which is void of color, will be used sparingly since it may be perceived post-COVID as sterile or institutional. Color theory will begin to play a larger role in providing comfort and facilitating function. Laura Guido Clark, color expert and principal of Love Good Color in Berkeley, California, notes in a recent Forbes article, "In a time like this, our senses need to be attended to more than ever. We're completely removed from our normal function, and color is going to play a more vital role in addressing human needs and values like safety, fear, and connection." Patterns and graphics also provide visual cues and tap into the psychology of design. For instance, geometric patterns are meaningful and stabilizing, help create zones and separation, can be utilized as wayfinding, provide illusion of movement, repetition, and order. Circles imply energy, power, and community, a sense of completeness, symmetry and structure, infiniteness, and harmony. Rectangles and squares inspire stability, discipline, formality, and equality. They're stable and trusting and earthbound. Triangles promote growth and progress, energy, power, stability, and strength, and navigation. Linear designs encourage transition, connection, sense of tranquility, and harmony. So let's bring it back around to a summary of the 6 key attributes that are meaningful to you as we navigate this new world. Bleach solution cleanable and disinfectable. Heavy-duty physical properties such as abrasion resistance combined with other physical properties. Fluid barrier protection, preventing fluids from passing through the upholstery and getting to the foam, therefore preventing mold, mildew, and bacteria. Antimicrobial protection, giving us a feeling of security and serving to protect the surface of the material. Keep in mind, this can make no health claims, but can help minimize transference of bacteria. Enhanced fade resistance for outdoor and indoor areas that receive an abundance of natural sunlight. And soil and stain resistance, for example, Nanotex, Green Shield, and Encase that help prolong the life of the surface material by providing additional durability while also protecting against spills and stains. Here's a look at how these high performance attributes align with bleach cleanable textiles. On this matrix, we list the types of textiles down the left axis of the grid. Across the top, we list the performance attributes that we discussed earlier. A couple of notes here. You can see that all of the options are heavy duty and in most cases are cleanable with bleach solution. Where we say pattern specific, that means exactly that. You'll need to take a look at the individual pattern that you're considering and confirm the performance attributes. When we say may be added, that means we can add those particular attributes to a product by sending out to a finisher for treatment. You simply need to specify this finish. I know that's a lot to absorb. I'll take a few seconds for you to review. All right, our next slide will review the coated fabric category. We believe this category will emerge as more important than ever. Why? Because this category addresses so many of the performance attributes. Like before, we list the important physical attributes down the left axis and the three main product types across the top: vinyl, polyurethane, and silicone. There's a lot to understand here, so let's hit a few highlights. Note, all of these products have inherent moisture barriers, which means that fluids cannot penetrate these products. And these products are all durable and stain resistant. Now let's take a deeper dive into the coated fabric category, starting with vinyl. Vinyl has the best durability track record and long-term performance. Vinyl is the best option in terms of long-term sustainability against disinfecting and high traffic environments. Test results show in regards to cleanability, they have resistance to degradation and deterioration against a wide variety of commercial cleaning solutions, not just bleach. They're highly stain resistant. They do include the inherent fluid barrier. And typically these contain UV additives for an enhanced fade resistance. Not all products are GreenGuard certified, so please make sure GreenGuard is a priority. In regards to aesthetics, there's many planes, patterns, and textures available, and new print techniques also provide the appearance of woven textiles while offering the performance properties of a coated fabric. Typically, in regards to cost, vinyl will offer the best value for coated fabrics. Now let's move on to polyurethanes. In regards to durability, polyurethanes that are constructed of polycarbonate resins are the most durable. Cleanability, generally speaking, performance history has shown that many low-grade polyurethanes do not hold up to stringent cleaners as well as vinyl products. Again, look for the polycarbonate resin construction. These are definitely stain resistant and do offer the inherent fluid barrier protection. Also, typically these contain UV additives for enhanced fade resistance, so refer to the light fastness rating. Again, make GreenGuard certification a priority. In regards to aesthetics, primarily you'll see solids and textures with limited prints. And quality is typically relative to cost. Polyurethane used in the New World Order should be constructed of high-grade polycarbonate resins, which are typically more expensive. And on to silicones. Multi-layer silicones are extremely durable and typically more durable than a traditional silicone. Multi-layer silicones are highly chemical resistant and cleanable. Stain resistant with inherent graffiti and denim dye resistance. They have the inherent fluid barrier and enhanced fade resistance, typically having UV additives for this enhancement. GreenGuard certification, again, please check that. And aesthetics. Currently, the industry has a lot of faux leather or vegan leather looks, but technology is improving for printed silicones, and silicone polyurethane hybrids often offer even more design capabilities. In regards to cost, generally, these are more expensive than vinyl and polyurethane. While we can't know exactly what the future will bring and how the pandemic will affect architecture and interior design, we can take cues from the past and make educated guesses with the information that we're given at any time. After all, in the 50s, the futurists predicted the self-driving Tesla, food trucks, and Grubhub. This officially ends the CEU portion of the presentation, and we are open for additional questions.
Yes, Paula, thank you. We have a couple of questions. The first one was asking for a clarification on what high energy dyes, high energy dye polyesters are, and what the benefits are. And if you don't mind, I'll give you a break and maybe have you grab a sip of water, and I'll handle that. I'll handle that one. Many in our audience probably are familiar with solution dyed nylon, and the comparison that's always used is the carrot and the radish. And so in solution dyed nylon, the color solution is being impregnated into the filaments during the production of the filaments and the yarns and so on. So the advantage typically is potentially much higher abrasion resistance, much higher UV fade resistance, bleach solution cleanable, and so on and so forth. High energy polyester yarns are created in a similar concept, but with a different approach. The filaments are superheated, thereby opening up the pores in the yarns and filaments such that the dyes can be captured and infused in a more permanent manner. So the net result, similar to solution dyed nylon, is typically higher abrasion resistance, higher UV fade resistance, bleach solution cleanable, and so on.
Thank you, Randy.
You're welcome. Another question, Paula, for you is remind some in our audience what Green Guard Certify really addresses.
Aha, good question. Green Guard certification is a third-party certification which focuses on indoor air quality and chemical exposure. Products achieving Green Guard certification are proven to meet some of the world's most rigorous chemical emissions standards, helping to reduce indoor air pollution and chemical exposure.
So I might add, to simplify that explanation, it measures VOCs or off-gassing. And so Green Guard certification is important in your role as specifiers in interior environments.
Right.
One other question had to do with UV fade resistance, and again, the metric that's used. In your presentation, you mentioned 40 hours as standard for commercial and commercial interiors, and up to 2,000 hours for indoor outdoor. Again, can you explain the hours metric?
It is really just, it doesn't necessarily relate to hours in the field. It is just the terminology that they've come up with to measure to give a name to the measurement, and it gives you a source of comparison.
Good. I might add that, again, it's never to be interpreted as a literal translation or application. It's just the metric that was used. In fact, ACT, the Association for Contract Textiles, has been moving in a direction to maybe go more towards a class A, B, and C, or class 1, 2, and 3 to eliminate any of that literal translation confusion.
Right. Well,
and I would
go ahead.
Just last chance for any other questions. If not, I'll say thank you very much and turn it back to Paula.
All right. Thank you, Randy, and thank you everyone for attending. I want to make sure that you've got your class code number here, just in case it wasn't entered on your registration. So be sure to make note of this class code so that we can make sure that you get your IDCEC credit. And I think, and thank you again, everyone, for attending. And thank you, Alex. I think I need to get this back to you. So I'm going to stop my share and see what happens here.
Well, I just want to say a big thank you to Paula and Randy for today. And thank you to everyone for attending the CEU. If you have any other questions about today's webinar, please be on the lookout for an email from Paula with her contact information. Again, just to reiterate, participants will earn 1 IDCEC Health, Safety, and Welfare credit. On behalf of the IIDA Northern California chapter, thank you for joining us today and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.